So I'd like to share something with you that happened to me the other week. And it was a form of, I guess, accidental reflection that often happens when you're bored and doing nothing. So I'm very pro allow yourself to be bored and not always stimulate yourself with your phone and stuff like that. And frankly, it was to do with who I am today, not necessarily where I am, but who I am today versus who I was 5 years ago. And very specifically 5, because I recently just hit my 5-year anniversary at my current job and corporate career at JLL in commercial real estate. And it was a very strong juxtaposition because when I started 5 years ago, I knew nothing about commercial real estate, frankly. I knew about flex space and co-working a bit because I had a startup about it, but knew nothing about it. And now today I'm talking in dollar per square meters, valuations, rents, leases, all that kind of stuff, and have developed a pretty strong, I'd like to think, personal brand within the industry. And that's important to me because I've never actually taken the time to acknowledge that or appreciate it. I think if you think or behave anything like me, and this video really is for anyone out there with sporadic thinking, you don't really take the time to acknowledge those achievements. When you achieve a goal, whether you set it or you accidentally set it or it's just there, you just move on to the next one straight away, no matter how big or small, right? And that's a very bad habit of mine, which means that most of the time I actually feel like shit because I have not achieved something and I'm still chasing something or trying to achieve something. And I don't have emotional maturity or awareness. Maybe maturity is the wrong word, but emotional awareness to go, hey, hang on. You've just done X, Y, Z. Don't be too hard on yourself. Which is insane and really funny, right? Because if I'm speaking to my wife or I'm speaking to friends or colleagues, I'm very aware to remind them of those things. But when it comes to me, I'm not. And so this video is really dedicated to that. It's dedicated to the power of the pause. So taking time, pausing for a second, not resting on your laurels and going, oh, I've done this, I don't need to do anything for a while, but really acknowledging those things because more than anything, it just allows you to appreciate yourself a bit more. And the reason why I think this is really important for any aspiring entrepreneurs out there is because when you start valuing yourself as a person and as a character, so let's call this character capital, okay? I'm not sure if that's a term, but let's make it one and hopefully it sticks. I actually really like it. I should buy that website, which is a lot of you will chuckle and laugh because that's what we do all the time, don't we? We sit on a ton of these domains. But if you're a first-time founder or you're thinking about starting something, you're likely going to fail because it's your first time, right? And that's not a bad thing because when you think about it, it is a bad thing if you only look at that business and you look at the startup capital and you go, it didn't work, it failed, holy shit, I suck. But that's not the way you should be looking at it. You should also look at your character capital. The person that comes out on the other side of that is probably going to be someone who's well versed in whatever business you are working in, can juggle multiple moving parts, has probably more experience dealing with stress and grit and deadlines and all that kind of stuff than anyone else who's never tried to start a business. And I think that is invaluable. Whether you want to start another business, you're more experienced, or whether you want to take those lessons and go join a bigger company, pursue a corporate career because they love that shit. They love the entrepreneurial experience and it'll help fast track you to a leadership role within those businesses. And you got to start thinking about it that way. When you think about failure, it's not just about the lessons and blah, blah, blah. I think more importantly, actually, it's about your character development, right? So if you fail, it's not about here are the 5 things I learned out of that, blah, 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 Don't waste budget on this, find a co-founder, blah, 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 all that kind of crap, which I'm sure a lot of people will tell you out of their own experiences. I actually think, and it's really hard to measure, which is why it comes back to the power of the pause. It's the character development. It's the character capital. It's the person that comes out on the other side of it with those metaphorical battle scars, you know? You probably won't even recognize yourself after a few of those stints, and you're going to be someone who is much more measured and much more prepared to do something in the future, right? And that's probably why that recent Harvard Business Review study kind of clocks entrepreneurs in their mid to late 40s as more successful than younger founders when they did that that survey and that plot test across a bunch of industries, not just tech. So, power of the pause. Please take that time. And when, especially if you're young, when you're looking at new opportunities, don't look at it in terms of black and white. Will it succeed or fail? Also look at how will that help mold you as an individual and as a person. Okay, so good luck. You got this, and I'll speak to you again soon.